All right, what we're going to do is have another look at catching long floats, but for holding yarns in two hands. I'm going to start out with the yarn I'm holding in my left hand on my left hand side, the yarn I'm holding in the right hand on the right hand side. I've been doing a little bit of stuff here. I've been holding, as I said, the sort of the what is that called? Russet, terracotta, burnt orange, whatever you want to call it, in my right hand, and the whatever that is, lavender, in my left hand. And you'll see I wrap the yarn the same way. This is not holding yarns, but this is what I do. Wrap it around here, I wrap it around here, and then I hold it. And then I can sort of flick or move with my middle finger on this side. Same on this side, little finger, and then under, except for that on the left hand side, I pull that up like that so I can sort of dig it out. Okay, this first time what we're going to do is catch this yarn with this yarn, because I've got 5 of these lavender ones to go, and you can see I've already done it here. It's caught there. Okay, so and incidentally, this looks really sort of messy. This is what's called a speed swatch, or it's not a flat swatch, it's what I call a speed swatch. So that when you'll see, when I get to the end, I just drag all that yarn, that when I get to the end of this round, I am knitting in the, I am simulating knitting in the round by knitting flat, because, well, you'll see, that's by, all this is here. You have to have a lot. You want to, if you're doing this, you got to make sure these loops are pretty big, so that you don't, you have space to spread it out so you can get your gauge. Okay. So with that being done, I'm going to do 1, 2, and I normally catch on either the 3rd or the 4th stitch. And in this case, there are 5 stitches. I'm going to catch on the 3rd stitch. So I go into the stitch. Okay, pinch it with my what is that, second finger and middle finger, and my thumb, just so I can let go for a split second. Wrap that around from the back side, going this way with this yarn, and then do this. Now, I have not made the stitch yet. I have not done anything. I've just put the needle through the stitch, and then I catch it with the dig it, whatever you call it, dig the yarn, catch the yarn, I don't know what you want to call it, but anyway, almost make that stitch, still not making the stitch. Then I unwrap it the right side and then finish the stitch. And you see there's a little bit of that orange kind of peeking through, but if I give it just a little bit of a tug, it goes away. So I'm going to finish, I'll show you that again. So I do this every 3rd or 4th stitch. So here we go. 1, 2, needle through the stitch, and that's all I do. It just goes through the stitch. I am not taking it off. I'm not making a stitch. I'm not slipping it. I'm doing anything. I'm just through the stitch. Pinch it to hold it tight. Wrap it with the right side. Wrap it with the left side. Unwrap the right side, and then finish your stitch. And you can give that just a little tug so that it doesn't pop through, which it has a tendency to do sometimes. And then finish it off. All right, one more time. And this time I'll do my little, whatever the thing is I say, little thing I say. So if you're a right-handed person, you'll appreciate this. The left hand is working away, right? And you're getting ready to catch the float. The right hand says, well, I'm in charge. And the left hand says, no, I'm in charge. And the right hand says, well, then I'm going home. And well, if I could get it to work, and unwrap it and come out like this. Give it just a little bit of a tug, and then 2 more. I can do that a little bit faster. That is kind of a dance here. So it's 1, 2, in, wrap, wrap. Hello, I'm looking at this through a camera. Unwrap. There we go. And then 2 more. Okay. So 1, 2, wrap, wrap, unwrap, finish the stitch. You don't finish the stitch until you've moved all your wraps around. All right, I'm going to finish this little area. Well, I will do it one. Let's just get to the end real quickly, and then I'll show you about this speed swatch thing. And then I didn't show you the back of this, but what that does is that I caught that long float. You see, there's my long float, except for I caught it in the middle there. Okay. Do it in, pinch, wrap it around. I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. Then I'm going home. A little bit of a tug. There we go. And then these are just edge stitches here so that it's going to get loosey-goosey. This type of swatch gets loosey-goosey on the end, or just loose, or whatever expression you want to use. What I usually do to finish off these swatches like this is that I will, and we'll show you this one, I'll go ahead and catch the left with the right, just so that purple is not hanging way back here. And then I'll knit into the back side of that last stitch, which means I'm twisting it, and that gives it it makes it a little bit tighter on that end. I'll do that with a flat swatch as well. Okay, so now I've finished this particular row round, whatever. Pull out, make sure I've got enough yarn. Pull the work to the other end of the needle. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I have to do a round of, let's see, let me get the end. These are the two. The downside of this particular type of thing is that these things get all tangled, but you're going to undo it. The reason you use this is if you want to use this yarn again, or you're not sure you've got enough. I will pull this way out, and it's almost a yard that I pull out. Put that back to here. This way you're not cutting the yarn is what I'm trying to say. So now I've got to do a round. You can see here the next round is the same as the one below, so it's 3 and 3. And then we'll have 5 of the orange. Now for the first round, just to get it set up, I put so that I was doing 2, 1, 2. But this the round that I get to that, it's going to be 5. So let me just get to the end of this with the 3, 1, the 3, 3. I can start that, and then why don't I just do it, and then I'll speed ahead or cut it or do something. You'll see. So same thing. You can see how you start this. I try to do 1 stitch of whatever color you're supposed to do into the back because I'm twisting it. I go in here, and then what I'll do is you see that I'm holding it this way. I'll go behind that, and what that does is that locks that other color in, and then come on top. And now that particular yarn will end up underneath the way I'm holding it, but right at that point I've got it on top. So because when I knit with this again, I'll lock it in again. So this is an orange, and then I've got 3 of these, and then 3. So this whole row is just 3, 3, 3. Jump this up this way. What I usually do a lot of times when I talk about tension is that if you're having trouble with your tension being too loose or too tight, I would consider using a set of wooden needles, because the drag is a little bit more than the chrome needles. But you knew that, because those chrome needles are real fast, real slick. But if you're worrying about tension, if you ever want to feel slightly disoriented, try to knit through your camera. It is a little disorienting. In other words, I'm looking at the viewfinder of my camera rather than at my knitting. I'm looking at my knitting through my viewfinder, if that makes any sense. You will see I get a lot of assist with various fingers holding these things on the needles and trying to get all the yarn in the right places. It's my index finger over here and my middle finger on this side. Some more yarn out and get that guy back over there. I swear with this a speed swatch though, your yarns are going to get tangled no matter what because of just the way the speed swatch goes. So I always say it's just going to be a mess in the back, but that's not what you're looking at with this. This is kind of like making an I-cord where you're siding to the other end of needles. Same kind of thing, except that you're not pulling it real tight. And then here we go again. I'm going through that one, around behind this, and that's the catching up the other way, which we'll do in just a second, through the back of that last stitch and pull it, and then you can just give that a little bit of a tug. Then you're going to the other end of your needle, like this. I'm going to go find those two yarns that I just used. Oh, that was the tail. That's not right. Let's see. I've got... Is that it? Did I just get it? Yes, okay. Those are the two. Pulling it out, way out there. Pulling it around like you can't really see how long, but it's pretty long. It's almost a yard. Just because, and you'll see in a minute, I'll show you, that you want to get this, you want to be able to spread this out without having any impingements from this being too short, if that makes any sense. I think impeachment's probably not the right word, but maybe it is. Who knows? All right, so we're starting again this way. That's my end here. This goes in here. I will go behind that to lock that in. And then my first stitch here is going to be this, my first stitch here is going to be the orange one. And you'll see what I ended up doing with that is that this is now below this one. The lavender is now below this one. So there we go. This is 1. Now I've got 5 between here and here of this burnt orange color. So I'm going to do this. And this is this is a little more delicate. Let me get all this stuff out from behind you. You can see what I'm doing. This is a little bit more, not delicate. What's the word I'm looking for? Subtle. Delicate, subtle, you know. All right, we're on the 3rd stitch. Needle goes in. Both of these things for catching yarns, you do not take the needle, you do not go all the way through. Take the stitch off the needle, that's what I'm trying to say, off the left needle. The right needle goes into behind, like you're just going to make a stitch, okay? Now, what you're trying to do is that this yarn is here. You're trying to kind of trap that yarn between the work, and you're trying to make sure that you are going and locking it in. You see how that kind of goes over behind it? If this was out here, you're not locking it. So you've got to figure out a way to make, let's get a little more tension on that. Okay, to make that. Now, what I would normally do without thinking about it is that I pinch it here, I'll roll my hand this way and go around behind it. See, if I didn't roll my hand, I'd go in front of it. I want to go behind it, make my stitch, and do that. Now, with this particular type of trapping, it doesn't get trapped. That first part did was to position the yarn, and then you trap it with the second stitch. So it really, this particular type of right hand catching left hand yarn, it takes 2 stitches to trap it. Okay, so let's try this again. Now I watched somebody else do this and try, because I'm always trying to explain it, because that one's just, it's real subtle, and it's just a matter of turning your hands. Now I've seen people where they do this, where they're just bring it over like that, or they'll bring it over here, or they'll, you know, however you want to think about it. What you're trying to do is getting around behind it this way to make the stitch. Okay, so you just got to get this out of the way. Now I have heard other people say, as I hit the table, sorry, is that another way to think about it is, instead of trying to move this yarn, move the needle. So instead of having the needle on top of the yarn, have the needle go underneath the yarn to make the stitch. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Let's look at it one more time. I'm going to try to hold my yarn a little bit differently. Let's see if I can get the yarn. There are people who will hold their yarn like that. I can't get any tension. Let's see if I can try to get tension like that. Hold it down here like this, that it's not so high in the air. I am just awkward with that. So, well, it would help if I'd get to the point where I needed it yet. There. Now, third time, your needle's real close like this. Go underneath it instead of on top of it. Go underneath it, make the stitch, and come back. Then make one more stitch, and it's locked in. Okay? The other way, as I was saying, to think about it is to think about it as a pulling the yarn over the top. And that's another way to do it. This goes through here, and what you need to do is, if you're dropping and picking up, it just comes forward like that. Either come in between the V, it says, you're not trying to wrap around, you're just trying to lay it over there. You can possibly lay it over here down like that. I usually come over the top, not underneath, over the top. Of course, I just pulled it off the needle, but anyway, come in between. You see how it's in between the V? Make your stitch, pull it back, and finish the stitch up. That depends on how you, as I said, depends on how you hold your needles. If I was holding my needles, I'll show you that again. If I was holding my needles like I'm supposed to, because I just can't seem to, I taught myself continental, so that's why it's not as good as people who really know continental. There are people who hold their needles like, God, how in the world you get any attention doing that? But anyway, hold it like that. You want to go underneath it instead of on top of it. You want to go underneath it and go around. Try not to catch your finger, and then come back, and then it's in the right position, and then the next stitch you catch it. Okay, so as I said, that one is real it's real subtle or delicate, depending on which word you want to use. And as I said, I just roll my hand over and it picks up. So it comes up, it happens pretty quickly if I've got the right tension on it. There's 5. 1, 2, 3, and I see, and I'm just going along behind it, and I'm just turned my wrist and gone along back there to make the stitch. Okay. I'll finish this out. How many? I've got one and part of one to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, did I catch it? Did I catch it without? I did it without even thinking about it. So that's how that goes. Don't even think about it. This one, and then 1, 2. Come behind, 3, 4, and then into the back of the stitch. And also, I can also go into the back of the stitch and also around behind. That catches it one more time. And then that goes like that. Okay? And as I said, I can spread this out on this needle. If I'd done a full swatch, I could spread this out and spread it flat like that. If I had a whole, as I said, if I had a full swatch, and the table would quit shaking. Stop it. And then I could measure my swatch from there. I also, because I'm going to use this yarn again, can, because of the speed swatch, take this off and then just pull it all out. And I haven't cut any yarn at all. So there you go, as I unravel the world. Thank you, guys. We'll see you later. Thanks for joining me. If you've got any questions, let me know, because I'm here to help.